All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm super exhausted, and that's I guess, probably not an appropriate way to start an episode. I thought I record something, moments when I'm exhausted, really exhausted. I feel those moments are moments where one can release their vision. Anyways, in this episode, I wanted to explain and guys, I don't know, I'll go with the rhythm I can find right now. This is one of those too tired to speak but feel, you have to moments. Alright guys, give me a second, let me put on my headphones. Okay, so I feel I need to explain something to the viewers, okay? I think maybe it's like a week ago or something. I recorded these 4 videos under a unique circumstance, and the morning after, I wanted to delete the videos, but somebody, uniquely, and I'll tell you why I wanted to delete the videos. Somebody had sent me an email and I was kind of torn. So imagine waking up in the morning, having recorded some videos the night before and wanting to delete them, but suddenly you get an email from someone saying like the video was valuable to them, and they were like thanking me. So a couple nights ago, I'm a person who, since my youth, I shouldn't say since my youth, but I've been more drawn to smoking. I rarely ever drink. I don't even remember the last time I drank, when it was, but I was at this event at this hotel, and anyways, I had a few drinks, and then some part of me felt broken emotionally, and I don't know why, but I decided to record some things. So, I didn't know what to do with those episodes. I have this rule. I gotta say this rule. In all these years I've given this talk, I have never given talks in intoxicated. That was a rule, a Mr.Withinian rule that had come early on. If I'm not fully conscious of the outer realms, then it's my inner realms are different. But anyways, it was very, unique for me. Those talks, I don't consider them, those 4 talks, I don't consider them as episodes, simply because of this rule. And so I've moved them into the members section if anybody wants to see it. Okay. But, oh my God, I forgot to change the title. What is this? What is this? Am I that tired? Okay. First of all, I wanted to say something. Okay. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Viewers dropped. Okay. So anyways, that's about those episodes. They're there, present for those who feel they need to hear them. An idea arose to me. You're on the right path, don't fear yourself. This doesn't mean necessarily everybody's on the right path, but I would say in this past week I've had insights, past 2 weeks, and these insights have enabled me to detach from a certain emotional expectation I've had on reality. I would consider myself as someone who, think of it this way. Human beings are born in this world. We have a sort of, I don't want to say limited attention span, but, our attention's not omnipresent. Guys, let me see if I can play music from my phone in the background. Hold on. Jesus Christ. The phone's not strong enough. Obviously. All right. May the winds of evolution find me now. Human beings, they enter this world. At some point you specialize, you focus on something. This world can be seen as a training ground. In different talks, I've talked about it as a sort of workstation. Different human beings receive reality differently. Out of all the things that, different human beings are looking at in this lifetime of mine, I decided to look at the nature of mind and to look at the nature of the body. And think of it this way, I'm this Iranian kid, this Persian kid, born in 1991. I have a twin brother. I remember my mother, she would pray. She would pray, and imagine two 7-year-old kids. Anytime my mother would pray, me and my brother would just put our heads on the ground. And we didn't know, like we weren't even praying. We would just like put our heads on the ground and we would look at each other and we'd start laughing while my mother was praying. And so my mother, I understood a sort of religious decency from there, from my mother, grandparents, and whatnot. My father was very different, still a very, very decent, calculated human being. I remember I was talking to my brother and I said, we have, like me and my brother have no memory of my father getting angry. My mother, yes. But my father, no. And my father had a spiritual perspective from the beginning. But he was a man who, when I was years later, when I started giving these talks and all this, I was like, Dad, why weren't you saying, why weren't you sharing this stuff and all this? And he's like, I was waiting for you guys to ask. And so what I'm trying to say is that from early on, when I was young, my father had this bookshelf, and there was this book there called Mind, Body, Spirit. Okay? And the book was hilarious because the print was upside down. The publisher somehow messed up the print. So the cover of the book was upside down to the book. But anyways, I remember my young mind engaging that book and coming across this trio, right? This trio of mind, body, spirit, some people call it, but body, mind, soul. In these my own lectures, I say that there's a visible dimension, an invisible dimension, and an inconceivable dimension, and I've explained this numerous times. But what I want to say is that out of all the things that a human being can focus on, I noticed that I went on a sort of metaphysical research project, okay? But a metaphysical research project that I realized that I have to reinvent the wheel of all the meaning others have given. And this was very difficult. Why? Because I had to first see what sort of meaning was out there. And so I would say that in, human beings, they spend time doing something for a long time and they cultivate, that there's different cultivations. I even remember there was this film I was seeing. I think it was called Alienoid. This very unique Korean film. And there's a scene in that film. First of all, the concept of the film is mind-blowing. I'm not going to give it away. People can go look at it. But anyways, there was a scene where there was this woman who, at the beginning of the film, you feel like she's the bad guy. There was this woman and this guy, okay? And they were these, like, it was like one of those Chinese movies mixed with sci-fi. Those Chinese movies where the guy's like, yo, is that a tree or a staircase? And the guy starts running on the leaves, And so what I'm trying to say, or let me start differently. Let me continue differently. It's just what I have. Oh yeah, the scene. Sorry guys, I'm so tired. The scene. In this scene, there's a movie. There's this, let's say cultivation. There's this woman. Okay, there's this like Chinese martial artist woman, lady in it, and then there's a scene where she has this evil thought. Okay, she has this evil thought and then suddenly she notices her own mind in the middle. Like she has this evil intent and she's like, oh my God, I need more. She literally says this in the film. She says, I need more cultivation, and she starts acting kind, right? And it was such a fascinating scene, because it was a shift in the inner realms, right? And what I'm trying to say is that You know, whether, in the outer realms it's taken seriously or not, I've had a sort of unique cultivation, a cultivation of and noticing of the difference between that which is an inner event and that which is an outer event. Recently, the realization of you're on the right path, don't fear yourself. Really, it's this idea that we can fear ourselves. Okay? You can fear your future, your past, your present. If you've done something very wrong in the past, you will fear it. And the thing is about this life, I'll tell you, there's a decency resonance. There's a feeling. If it was only logical, then in some sense we'd be heartless machines, right? But what is the human heart? Do you know? What is that idea, right? And it's a suggestion that the human being does not just want analytical satisfaction. If we don't feel right, we feel we're in the wrong world sometimes, okay? And so I'll say this, for anybody, people know I smoke cigarettes. And of course, how many minds you think my mind hasn't fathomed so many ways. There was a time I was sitting at this, what do you call it, this hotel pool, right? And I was sitting at the tables beside it, and I remember for a moment, I just saw my body turn into ash, and then suddenly, start slowly break, chunks of it. Okay, and that was just a vision of my mind. There's been in dream states I've experienced death. I think in a dream state I once had a stroke. That means in the dream I was just suddenly, my attention was normal, everything was normal. Suddenly it was like a pause, and I noticed my attention slowly falling down. Something like that. What I'm trying to tell you is that the seriousness that I would take life, it's not that I don't take it seriously anymore. It's just that once you understand what it is, you relax, okay? And recently I wanted to give a talk. I think I wanted to title it, this was maybe a couple of days ago the idea came, the self-domestication of divine animals, or a divine linguistic self-domestication of animals. And it was this bizarre view where in this whole time I'm this guy who, talks about advanced civilizations. It's like my cup of tea. But for the first time, I saw a view of reality, and I think I was in Emirates Mall or somewhere. And so I just, for a moment, this is not a pleasant idea, guys, For a moment, I just thought, what if the planet is a farm? Not in the sense of the promised Neverland, not as messed up as that, but for a moment I thought that what if it's a farm? That means what if it's this might sound bizarre. Again, I don't mean to be disrespectful, I'm just looking at the idea. But I thought, what if we are like farm animals? Okay. People are like, Mr. Within, it's kind of that de-escalated quickly from advanced civilization to seeing people as farm animals. What I mean by this is that it occurred to me that what is the difference? Sorry.